Publius Cornelius Tacitus was one of the most famous and renowned Roman historians of all time. He was famous for writing about only the information he thought was verifiable. Unlike most Romans, Tacitus praised freedom and harshly spoke out against tyranny. It is unknown exactly what social class Tacitus was in, because there is little evidence about his parents, but his strong friendship with the wealthy Pliny the Younger suggests that he was of the upper class. Overall, Tacitus was a very accomplished orator, and he used these skills in his accounts of history. Tacitus was born in 56 AD, likely in southern Gaul because it was very Roman-like. There is no solid information about his early years, but Tacitus probably received a first-class education, specializing in rhetoric and other courses that were preparatory for a career in law. Tacitus was taught by Quintilian, who was a highly educated man and a master of rhetoric. As a result of his impeccable rhetoric skills, Tacitus quickly achieved success as a lawyer. In 77 AD, Tacitus married Julia Agricola, whose father, Gnaeus Julius Agricola, was a senator and military commander. Tacitus continued to rise in Roman politics, and in 88 AD he became praetor and was a member of a priesthood that was in charge of the Sibylline books. These books, which are prophetic, very ancient, and are a collection of oracular writings, were traded from a Sibyl long ago. Between the years of 89 and 93 AD, Tacitus was absent from Rome in some administrative capacity, possibly a provincial governorship in Belgic Gaul, where he could have acquired the knowledge of German manners and customs he later used in his Germanae. Later on in 97 AD, Tacitus then served as a suffect consul, which means that a consul had died and Tacitus served the rest of his term. It was during his time as consul that he reached the height of his fame as an orator, as he gave the funeral oration for famous veteran soldier Lucius Rufus. When Tacitus returned to Rome, the full force of Emperor Domitian's tyranny had developed. Tacitus could have risked his life if he said something mean to the corrupt tyrant, so he chose to be silent. Tacitus was broken only when Domitian demanded flattery from Tacitus and the rest of the Senate, despite his acts of terror. Tacitus hated Domitian and even wrote, "Even Nero turned his eyes away and did not gaze upon the atrocities which he ordered." Even the harsh ruler Nero had to turn his eyes away from Domitian because of his gut-wrenching atrocities. So although Tacitus physically kept quiet, he still spoke out against Domitian via writing. Luckily, in 96 AD, Domitian was assassinated and all Romans were free from his tyranny. As a result, Tacitus then vowed to hold the memories of that period of sorrow to make him realize how lucky he is to be living now in present happiness. After all of this, Tacitus wrote one of his 5 major works, De Vita Julii Agricolae, or The Life of Julius Agricola. De Vita Julii Agricolae was a biography in praise of Tacitus's father-in-law, Julius Agricola. Although this was not Tacitus's most major work, it was still a great account of history. Agricola had served as the governor of Britain, and most of this book deals with the events that happened there. Tacitus included more than just details on Agricola's career and life, but he also provided geographical information and historical background on Britain. Tacitus also inserted speeches supposedly made by Agricola. Clearly, Tacitus was not your average historian, for he included so many additional things in his accounts that most other historians don't include. Furthermore, Tacitus presented the Britons as sympathetic characters in his book and described them as fighting for their homes against Roman invaders. As a citizen of Rome, this was unusual to take this much of an objective stance, but it was why Tacitus's accounts were so accurate, because he didn't let his feelings get in the way of the truth. Throughout the biography, Tacitus makes his message clear that good men can serve under bad rulers and accomplish great things. Around the same period, Tacitus published the book Germania, which was a treatise on the German people and their nation. Tacitus compared the barbaric Germans favorably with the Romans. He felt in many ways that the Romans were soft, decadent, and corrupt, and on the contrary, the Germans were heroic and sought honor and glory. Tacitus also praised the fact that Germans had more freedom than the Romans. He also warned against the danger that a unified Germany would be to Rome. Tacitus then interrupted his historical works with his third work, Dialogue of the Orators. This was a short work of an intellectual dialogue written in Cicero's style. This book is written with lots of humor and clearly describes the personalities of three orators meeting in 75 AD. Although the style of this book is so different from the others, Tacitus wrote it to show his command of rhetoric. The main message of this book is that art and society are intertwined and both are influenced by politics. Tacitus's last two works are considered his greatest historical accomplishments. Unlike other ancient writers, Tacitus cited many of his sources. He avoided the scandalous information of other writers and strived to provide only information specific to history. Tacitus described individuals as complete characters with both faults and virtues so that the reader gets to see the whole picture. Tacitus also smartly arranged his narratives in chronological order, which most historians did not do back in Roman times. Tacitus's first of these last two works was called The Histories. This was a series of books about the history of events that happened between 69 and 96 AD, and it was completed in 109 AD. The histories consisted of 12 or 14 books, but only the first 4 books and part of the 5th are still in existence. These books mostly covered the civil wars that broke out in 69 AD. Tacitus concentrates on what happens in Rome and includes events that happen in other provinces only when they were relevant to his central theme. His writing in these books are fast-paced and concise. The Histories was the work that brought lots of praise to Tacitus. Tacitus's final work was the Annals. In this work, he discussed Roman history from the death of Augustus in 14 AD to the death of Nero in 68 AD. Tacitus was concerned with showing how these emperors promoted the decline of republican virtues. He also showed how the two caused the decadence that Tacitus saw in the Roman Empire. The Annals consisted of 16 or 18 books, and about one-third of them have been lost. The main theme throughout this work was the cowardice of senators in reigning in the power of emperors and the ability of rulers to take away traditional freedoms. Similar to other works in the Annals, Tacitus displays great ability in his language to capture the essence of someone's character with so little words. Tacitus completed the Annals in 115 AD, even though he may have been working on a supplement around his death. Apart from writing all of these works, Tacitus also held the important office of proconsul of Asia from 112 to 113 AD. Tacitus then died in 120 AD. It is clear that Tacitus was the greatest Roman historian because he presented the most accurate information in the most artful way using his impeccable rhetoric.